Welcome to the Let Go Movement podcast. I'm your host, Akeisha. Thank you so much for being with me today. I hope you're all having a great day. Today, I just got done with such a powerful one-on-one session with a wonderful lady. It was so powerful. And then I was in group calls with a program that I'm a part of. And again, just so much change and awareness came into my world. I was talking to Clayton, and he's like, "Take it to the podcast, Keisha, take it." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So here we are. And then I was asking, okay, there's so much that wants to come through to me. There's so much that wants to be shared. I'm really trying to keep these episodes like on one topic, but I want to talk about the actual topic of Let Go Movement because this title, these words, this concept plays into so much of what I hope to bring to this podcast, which I hope I bring to your world. I want to bring to the world, and that is a movement of letting shit go. Doesn't mean that you have to roll over and not choose what's aligned for you. It doesn't mean that you have to submit to anyone. No. It means to really let go of all the shit that we keep that limits us, that keeps us in these boxes, keeps us in judgment of ourselves, keeps us in separation from everything, including ourselves. It means not having to go back into your past and try and figure shit out that you did so that you can make choices now to move you to the forward. No. It means let that shit go. Deal with what you got to deal with if things are coming up for you. Cause I do believe that sometimes in some cases we got to go back in our past and we got to forgive and we got to let, some trapped emotions go and we've got to let the programming go, but it's still at the end of the day is letting it all go. There was a moment I was listening to Abraham Hicks back in I think 2019 and I was listening to a recording and this person was talking about how they want to go somewhere in life, how they want to move forward, but they kept talking about their past. And Abraham Hicks says, when you're in a car and you get lost, you just punch in your destination again and it recalibrates a new route for you from where you are currently. She's like, your life is no different. It doesn't matter what you did, what choices you make, what happened. It doesn't at the end of the day matter. What matters is the present moment and what you want to choose and how you want to move forward. So that really comes down to letting go of things, letting the anger go, letting the frustration go, letting the he said, she said go, letting it all go so that you can move forward with ease. You can choose with ease. You can choose what's aligned for you, having total allowance for everybody else in that process for them to do what they would like to do, how they would like to choose, and having that total freedom of choice and allowance for you and everybody else. Letting shit go. I even have this tattooed on my body. Like I got the words let go tattooed in 2016. I was part of a dance workshop in Italy. And it was a huge lesson in this of letting go in a dance perspective. A lot of what I've come to learn has been through dance first, interestingly enough. And then it's moved into like the more spiritual side and into like the life, whatnot. But when I went to this workshop in Italy, I had to drop everything I thought was movement, how movement should be. I knew I was coming here to learn something. I knew the techniques that I was learning were, very not known to me at the time. I was heavily trained in Cunningham and Graham and ballet, but what I was learning was counter technique, which has forever changed my life and how I address movement and life in general, and Gaga, which is a beautiful movement process. They're both tools, they're both amazing, and they both open you up to so much more. So many possibilities in movement come from these tools that you get to pull in through these techniques. I had to let go of everything I thought about myself as a dancer, and it transformed me as a mover. And then I got the word tattooed movement, or the word movement, tattooed on my body as well in 2019 or 2018 when I was in Bali. I just finished my second round and level of FST at the moment. And my life was changing. I was moving in a different direction. I was actually just coming off of a long rehab time frame where I had to retrain my body because it was in so much pain, and I had a broken foot at the time. So I was relearning movement patterns. I was strengthening my body in a different way. My career was changing. So many things were happening. So many things were moving. And shortly after that, when I came back from Ireland and Bali back in 2018, I created the first edition of the Let Go Movement podcast. For those OG people that have been following me since 2018, you probably remember this podcast series. It also had its own iterations. It was still always rooted in letting shit go, letting go and moving forward. And people want to hold on to their past. They want to make everything significant. And something that comes up a lot in my world is I'm often, comments have come up where, Akeisha, you don't really ask questions about my past, and Akeisha, you're not really interested in what I, did. And it's interesting for me because I sometimes don't really know most of the time don't really know how to answer that. And then in a call today, I kind of ask that question, like, what is it that I'm maybe avoiding or defending or not willing to look at? And a question was asked back, being like, well, do you use their past against them? Or do you make it validate where they are today? And I said, no, I'm way more interested in what they're choosing now. And if there's something in the past that needs to be cleared or quote unquote healed, like that interests me and we can go there, but always on the person's like voluntary information to go. Or if it's in a setting where, okay, well, let's look at what might be coming up. What energies from the past are blocking you because it's, somewhere it's being tied to this choice of moving forward and it's not letting you. So let's clear that up. But let's clear it and let it go. And sometimes that doesn't really make sense to a lot of people because they've held on to their past as what defines them in the moment. And I really come from a space, I don't know where I've learned this, but I feel like I've always had it where the past, in some ways is not relevant to where you want to go. I think the past is great to create stories, and we choose things to have experiences to learn things about ourselves, about situations, changing, switching that karmic lesson, whatever that is. We choose experiences to have because it creates our life, and maybe there's a lesson or awareness that we needed to gain, right? But we're all doing that. And if we keep everything significant and defines us, I see that as a form of limitation. And I'm all about blowing up limitation in my own life and the clients that I work with, the work that I do for the world. I really see if we drop the limitations, like what is possible for us. And you see it played out in people a lot, but then we often say it's not for us. And this is something that I have to work on. This is something that I'm constantly working on, is catching where I'm limiting myself, releasing those limitations and asking, okay, well, what's possible here? What's possible for me? Um, how can that show up in my world? Right? Is that something that I would like? Okay, cool. No, yes. Whatever it is. And then moving forward, letting the past go, letting the shit go, letting the judgments go, letting the right and wrongness go, having total choice, total allowance. Never might not ever get it right, but I'm not wrong. I'm just choosing. I'm just a choosing over here, and I'm moving forward. So it's something that I'm very much in practice of. Have I gotten it? I want to say gotten it right. There's no right. Am I really good at it sometimes? Totally. Am I working on it a little bit more in other places? Yeah. But also letting those limitations go and just seeing that my life is just a creation of everything that I am doing in the now. And my choices now create my future, just like the choices I made 6 years ago have all contributed to this moment now, but I can let it all go. I can let the charge of everything I've done go. So there's an introduction to the Let Go Movement podcast, the drive behind the name, the mission I'm bringing into the world that I have been bringing into the world in different ways. And what would a world look like if we were not limited, if we let go of what we needed to let go of in order to choose with total freedom and total allowance and be that paradigm? And I think the world would be a magical, magical place. And I'm here for it. And I'm here to do that in my own life first and then with the world at large, because we create our realities and it starts within. And it's a huge part of the practice that I do with my clients, my one-on-one. We always are looking at what do we need to let go of? What do we need to destroy and uncreate? Whereabouts is that hiding in the body that we can let go of so that we can shift and change and move into what we desire? So it's a huge part of my world. It's a huge part of my practice, huge part of my client's journey is letting that go and then seeing the magic that gets created. So cheers to letting go today of whatever we want to let go of. Cheers to moving our bodies today. Cheers to continuing to move and create our lives today. And I'm excited to bring you more conversations. So until the next episode, thank you so much for being here. Remember to like, subscribe, and share if you find that this content brought something to your world. Share it with a friend. Drop it in a little thread of sorts. Okay, peace out, everyone. Bye.